All right, to the Jeb Jolt. Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush is walking back comments he made in a new book after they put him at odds with his own protege over immigration reform, saying that he now agrees with Senator Marco Rubio's proposed pathway to citizenship, provided it deters others from coming here illegally in the future. But can that be done? To Next Generation TV director and former Congressman Allen West. Obviously a bit of a schism here, Allen.
Yes.
That is a big concern of Jeb Bush. That is a big concern of yours. Did Marco Rubio's plan allay those concerns?
Well, I think one of the things you have to look at is the change in the tone of the book and the tone of what you saw today. So obviously, Jeb Bush will probably be running for president. But we need to have a unified front on how we're going to tackle this issue. Let's just go back to 1986 and look at what happened when we promised, the amnesty to 2 to 3 million, and we were supposed to do all of those second, third, and fourth order things that we ended up not doing. So now we have a situation where it could be 12 million, what have you. And when you look at our economic situation here in the United States of America, are we going to be capable of having another 6 to 7 million people that are going to be more so dependent on the federal government and social welfare type of policies and programs? And I don't think we're going to be able to do that. So what I would suggest is a multi-phased operation, 3 to 4 phases, and have different type of tasks that we want to have, and then have measures of effectiveness for each phase, and then the transition to the next phase. The most important thing is we cannot continue with the taxpayer benefits. I think that it has to be a means by which we can provide an opportunity for some of these individuals to eventually get guest worker program and guest worker permits. But to immediately put people on a path to citizenship, first of all, that's an offense to the people that are trying to come here legally, and we need to streamline that legal immigration process as well.
Congressman, while I have you here, what did you make of all these illegals who were being detained for various violations, some minor, others maybe a little bit more substantial than minor, released days, weeks ahead of sequestration cuts, and not a single cut had gone into effect?
Well, obviously, this was one of those gimmicks coming out of the administration. They did not have to be released, but it's part of that leadership by fear-mongering, which some people believe is a useful tactic. But in the end, I believe it erodes your credibility. We're already seeing now that the Obama administration is saying that there will not be any White House tours or Capitol Hill tours. They're going to have to cut back on that. But we saw Secretary of State John Kerry just promise the Muslim Brotherhood Egyptian government about $195 to $250 million. So we've got to get our priorities straight, and I think that's what happens when you come back to this entire illegal immigration situation. We've got to get those priorities in check and in balance.
Congressman, thank you.
Always a pleasure, Neil.